guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Educationopedia School of Future. Today we are going to cover the grade 11th and grade 12th of business studies topic, business environment. This topic you also need to study in your graduation part 2. In that also we are having this business environment or business in the form of business organization BO, and in that we just study this part. We will be seeing today all the major parts of business environment. First of all, we will see the definition. Business environment means the sum total of all individuals, institutions, and other forces that are outside the control of a business enterprise but may affect its performance. So, a small business or a large business, there are many things that hamper the business from outside or inside. Though they may not be aware about those things also, but they hamper. We will be seeing them one by one. First, we will see the impact of government policy changes on business and industry. So, in impact of government policy changes on business and industry. So, there are many policies made by the government every year and has been published in the budget of every year that these things we are going to do, these things we are not going to do, these things we are going to increase, these things we are going to reduce. So these all things hamper a lot, or these all things affect a lot to the markets. Impact of government policy changes on business and environment. First part is the increasing competition. These all policy leads to the increase of competition among the producers or the wholesalers or the retailers who are selling the product. They have a huge competition among themselves due to the policies of the government. More demanding customers. So when we have some policy and some business or industry is booming, or some is not booming, some is not rising, these are all on the demand of the customers. So whenever there is a product which has to be taken by all, or which is in the need of all the persons, those products are having more demanding customers. So like now you can see that the summer season is coming. In that summer season there is a lot of demand of umbrellas, there is a lot of demand of cold drink, there is a lot of demand of different things which makes us soothing and makes us help to fight away or cope away with the encroaching heat. Second thing, you will see that the rapidly changing technological environment. In technology also, every day some new changes are taking place. Due to these technological changes also, or the technological environment changes also, we need to have some business policies, and we need to have the it impacts on the basic business and the industry. Next is the necessity for the change. So there is always a necessity for change. Every day people are demanding different things, and they all need like different things according to their usage. Like a time was there when we are having big monitor screens in computer, and today you can see that you can do all those functions on your mobile phone, laptop, tablet, etc. Need for developing human resource. So why there is a need of developing a human resource in business environment? Because a particular human resource can only work in a particular field. Like we cannot put a labor in the teaching department, or we cannot put an engineer in the operation theater. So there is a need of developing human resource, and for developing that human resource also there are certain policies and there are certain environment which we need. Next is market orientation. Market orientation means what kind of customers I am having, what products are to be demanded by the market, and all these things we need to have information, and on these basis only we need to produce the products. Next is loss of budgetary support to the public sectors. So many times the public sectors do not have any budget, or there is no support by the government itself, and that's why people are facing the problem. Next to that, the dimensions of business environment are, the business environment has a, you can see the economic environment. Yes, totally we can say that the economic environment is there, and this economic environment is equally essential for each and everyone, and it relates with money, currency, bank, etc. So that's why the economic environment is related to business environment. Second, business environment is also a social environment because it includes all the people. Without people, there can be no business, there can be no economy, there can be no thought of a country or anything. So people who are working, they have a social environment. After that, the political environment. What is hampering in the business environment is the political environment, the policies and the rules regulations made by the legislature in the parliament affects the business environment a lot. That's why political environment also affects the different things. Next is your technological environment. Technological environment means the advancement of technology and how these things are growing, so that these technological things are changing the future of the people. So this technological advancement is also important, and this dimension also plays a role in business environment. Last is the legal one. There are certain rules and regulations which has to be followed by each and everyone like us. So for that also we are having the legal dimensions, and these legal dimensions need to be followed by each and every one of us. Now we have the features of business environment. In the features of business environment, we will see that there is a totality of external features. So first is that business environment is totally depending on the external factors or the external elements which hampers the business or makes the business a success on the matter which it includes. Second is your specific and general forces. There are certain specific forces which will apply on the business environment, and there are certain general forces which will also apply. So these are specific forces are your rules and regulations, and the general forces are the rules regulations made by the people who are at the top level, high level, or the management level. Next is your interrelatedness. Business environment gives us a sequence or gives us a feeling of interrelatedness with each other. As you can see that the economic, social, political, technological and legal are parts of business, and they all are interrelated to each other. One affects the other in one or the other way. Next is your dynamic nature. All these things are dynamic in nature, and they have equal importance at their places. Next is your uncertainty. Uncertainty means business has always a uncertainty that whether it will work or not work, whether it will have a future or not have. So these all things are depending on uncertainty. Next is your complexity. Complexity means many times you will see that the business environment is very complex. It has many types of elements which makes it harmful, which makes it very much complex that we are unable to understand. So there are certain complexity in this business environment, and that's why this affects us totally. Next is relativity. Everything in the business environment is related to each other, like the rise in the price due to the fall in the rise in the price of any share due to the fall of any other factor or any other news. So all these are related, interrelated, and that's why it is known as the relativity. So business environment has a equal relativity concept also. Now we have the managerial response to changes in business environment. So what are the managerial response? First is your mergers and acquisitions. Many times you might have heard of many companies getting together. Like you have seen that earlier Oriental Bank was there. Now it is known as the Punjab National Bank, because Punjab National Bank merged all the Oriental Bank in its own bank. That also, the State Bank of India is also having 7 different companies included in it. And acquisition means to capture or to take over. Next is your diversification. In managerial response to the business environment, there are different diversification, and everything is diverse and it is separated from one another. Next is your brand building. How brand building is done? Brand building means any brand or any product becomes a brand when we are doing advertisement, when we are launching it, when we are having the concept of advertisement very strong, so a simple product also becomes a brand. Next is your customer oriented approach. Simple thing is that when we are selling any of the objects, or when we are selling any of the product, it's our duty that the product which we are selling is customer oriented. Means our mind should be focused that we, whatever we are selling or whatever we are going to give to our customers, that is according to the need of the customer, according to the will of the customer. Next is your technological developments. Managerial response also changes in business environment due to the technological developments. Any change in technology all of a sudden requires the total change in the working process of the organization, and there the business environment is only maintained if the technological developments is done appropriately. Next is your better labor relations. So here again we have better labor relations with the different workers working in the factory or workers working in an office, and on with that basis the managerial response to changes to business environment is depending on the better relations, labor relations, so how we are related with the labor, how they are working. Next is the changes in capital structure. So managerial response is to changes of business environment also affects due to the changes in capital structure. If the capital structure is high, then there will be more or more advancement in managerial response. If the capital structure is low, then there will be less chances of reforms. Next is your importance of business environment. It enables the firm to identify opportunities and getting to the first mover advantage. So you will get the first chance to move ahead, as it helps you to identify opportunities. Second, it helps the firms to identify threats and early warning signals. So whatever the SWOT analysis is done and whatever the threats are there to the organization that what may hamper it in the future, these all things are earlier studied by these particular business environment modules. It helps in trapping useful resources. So many resources are there, those all resources are being trapped by these business environment modules. It helps in coping with rapid charges. So whatever the rapid charges are coming in the way, it helps us in coping with that. It helps in assisting in planning and policy formation. So this business environment only assists the higher authorities to plan and do the policy formation. It helps in improving performance. So it also helps in improving the performance of the organization. Last but not the least, we will have one thing, which is your economic reforms in India. So what were the economic reforms in India in 1991 and 1995? In 1991, the first economic reforms was liberalization. Second important reform was your privatization, and in 1995 it went to globalization. In liberalization, it removes unnecessary control and restriction from industry, and the government and other organizations become liberal towards the company that it may produce wherever and whatever it wants. Second is your privatization, reducing role of public sector disinvestment. Like you can see that now in every sector, like the railways, roadways, airways, in all the places you have private launch, or you have all the private facilities which are available there. So these all things are provided by the government, but after paying a certain amount of money, and whomsoever can afford, they can only go through that particular thing. Otherwise the chances are there that more and more number of people will move from one place to another. So this is your economic reforms in India: liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Liberalization means being liberal towards any particular industry. Privatization means, it means that it is reducing the role of public sector, means government sector undertaking, or PSUs will not be getting handsome amount of what do we say, that facilities. So here also reducing role of public sector and that is the disinvestment, means the government sectors are sold to the private hands. Next is globalization. It means that integration of economics of the world. So means the economies of the economies of the world means all the major economies of the world will get integrated, and they all will be showing, and they all will be coming together, and the whole world will become a small particular city or village in a small place, and we all will be interconnected to each other very soon. I hope you understand this lesson and the concept might be clear. So this is the thing which we have seen, and here we are completing your business environment chapter, and I hope you understood this well. And please revise this chapter, read this chapter. Any doubt is there, you can go come with this particular mind map and get your concept clear. Thank you.